Hello, I'm Greg. Welcome to the third installment of Introductions to Dungeons & Dragons 1E and 2E, first and second edition. The reason why I include first and second is because I kind of do a blend of both. Second edition is the more perfected of 1E. But today's episode is DMs, Dungeon Masters, versus players versus DMs. Most new players end up joining a group only to leave 2 or 3 sessions in and never come back. It's nothing wrong. It's finding a role-playing group is like dating. You got to get comfortable with them. Sometimes you know right off the start. Other times you're like, let's give this another try. And then you're like, no, it's not for me. The job of the DM is to guide the players through an adventure. There are great DMs, great role players, actors and actresses that really make the game fun. They know the rules. They know when rules to modify them, which ones to overlook at certain times. Then there's not so good DMs. They're rule stricklers. They say it's in the book. This is the way it's got to be. They nitpick too much, or they just don't have enough imagination. It's just a game. It's a game that you tailor to your needs. Sometimes a new player will fit right in. The DM gets along well with the players. Then you build your group up. You might have 2 or 3 more players join, and you all have that good association with each other. Then you get another player that just seems out of place. It's not a right or wrong thing. It's just sometimes people need to find certain groups. The worst thing that I have seen for dungeon masters that turn players away, seasoned players, experienced players, is the dungeon master cannot stand the players defeating the encounters. Meaning, the group comes up against a combat encounter. They do some excellent rolls, or they have an excellent strategy, and within a few rounds, boom, the encounter is gone. Or they come up against a trap. They avoid it somehow and move on. The DM gets a little upset, so they add something in quickly that wasn't originally in the plan to disrupt the players. That's not what the game is about. If the players succeeded the encounter quickly, well, then so be it. Let the players have their moment of joy. Like, hey, look at that. We didn't lose anybody. We gained some treasure, and the encounter lasted quickly. Let's move on. Bad DMs will suddenly add an additional encounter to make it harder for the players. Me, personally, that's not right. It's not my job or the DM's job to kill off the players. The DM's job is to guide them through the adventure, but not make it easy, but make it difficult as they go along, but enough for them to succeed at their level. Think of the old Atari and Sega and Nintendo games in the 80s as a scroll type. You have them going from the beginning to the end. But as they went along, the player was able to find little items to help them along with the next encounter or the big boss. That's what I do. I randomly roll for treasure, but I also put an item in there on purpose that helps them with the next encounter. Sometimes the players get it, sometimes they don't. Well, most of the time they don't get it. But that's the fun part. Let them explore, let them succeed or fail on their own. Do not persuade them. Yes, I'm guilty of helping them succeed sometimes just because I need the story to move along, or it's like, oh my gosh, players, you made the most simplest of mistakes and the game's over. So sometimes I got to help them. But the point is, look around. Find out what groups work for you, who's your friends play with. If you can't find anybody, start your own. But ask around. Then you can get comfortable with some of those players. Player versus player. I frown upon this in my game. Let's say you have Betty and Barna, Fred and Wilma. Yeah, I know. Fred ends up being a thief and steals from Barney and Betty. Well, Barney and Betty's going to get upset, like, why are you stealing from me? We're all in the same group. We need to focus on the agenda here. That causes disruptions, and then out of game, players become pissed. It's like, come on, dude, why did you rob from me? Well, I'm a thief. That's what I do. Not to your own players. Come on, you do it to NPCs, but it aggravates player versus player, and then they don't come back, and the group just disbands. So I discourage player versus player. There's exceptions to that when the DM or me charm or hypnotize a player character and the evil NPC gets them to do something against the players. That's different because the DM is controlling them then, so they can't yell at Betty, Barney, Fred, or Wilma. Then you got the disruptive player. There's a couple disruptive players. Those that just like to talk in middle of the game. Sometimes it's impolite, it's rude. I sometimes let it go, but there's a point where I just got to step in and say, okay, let's continue on. Then there's the angry player. Nothing seems to go right. The dice roll's wrong. Everybody's against them. I'm against them. It's never going to improve. It's the hardest thing to do, but you just need to tell that player, go find another group. I never say you're not welcome back. I just say, go find another group, please. Because it's just going to be disruptive. You're going to lose players. So again, find a group that goes with you. I like running clean campaigns. I try to keep the vulgar down. I don't throw sex into it. I don't get too much graphic in there. Yeah, we do get graphic with combat and stuff like that, horror, but I try to keep it clean. There's groups out there that love the cuss left and right. Good for them. There's no rule that says you have to or you don't have to. Find a group that works for you. I'm interested in any of your advice with comments down below of how you handle disruptive players, new players, how you welcome them into your group. And I can also offer other suggestions to unusual circumstances. But I like to welcome everybody to the group. It doesn't matter who you are, because we're all going to be playing in a fantasy world, which is called a game. It's not serious. It's just a game. Other than that, I'm Greg, author of Tomes of Ahir. Yes, I'm going to show you my books again. I got number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Awesome fantasy story. Working on book number 5 at the moment. Hoping release in February of 2026. Again, it's tomesofahir.com, and I will talk to you later. Thank you.